Well, we've made it to the last week in April. We're heading into May, and this is peak sales season. We are feeling the pendings go up. We're seeing more demand in the market. However, we still have a lot of inventory and growing, and there's still an argument that there's tepid buyer demand. Is the reason because Austin's population isn't growing as much anymore? Well, fear not. I'm about to show you a few charts that are going to show you how many people continue to move to Austin and where Austin's predicted to be over the next 40 years. Well, this chart is from the Texas Demographics Center. The darker the purple, the more we've seen population change and growth over the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years. This is 2020 to 2024. If you look at Dallas, look at all the suburbs, the darkest purple. If you look at Travis, which is Austin, look at all the suburbs, dark purple. If you look at San Antonio, especially the north side, going south, it's a little more rural. But as you go north up and down the I-35 corridor, all those counties are dark purple. And of course, all the northern and side counties to Houston growing. So the Texas Triangle growing like crazy. So what does that mean in numbers? So if I come back up here, we're going to look at estimates. This is over the last 5 years or so. We'll do it by market. So if I look at Austin, here we are on the third line. So in 2020, we had 2.28 million people. As we got to 2025, we grew from 2.28 to 2.59. We grew 286,000 people, 12.5% in just the last 5 years. And by the way, that is after COVID. Okay. All this population growth, this is after COVID, not pre-COVID. So we've still seen a huge amount of people move to Austin, almost 315,000. This now is 2025. Sorry, that was 24. 25, we've seen 315,000 move here, 13.8% growth. So why are things so slow? If we got all these people, why are things so slow? Well, we built a ton of housing. We built 115,000 apartment units. We built condo buildings. We built single family new subdivisions. We built lots of stuff. And on top of that, it got expensive. So not as many people were buying. They're more renting. And what's happening is the rental market also got flooded because everybody who couldn't sell their home turned it into a rental. So even though there's a lot of demand in the rental market, we provided, again, the market a lot of supply. It is going to start to balance out. And more importantly, where are we headed? So that's right now, we're sitting at about 2.59, call it 2.6 million people. So where is Austin going over the next few decades? So this is a projections program. And this is how they are estimating. Okay, they're loading the page. Here we go. This is Texas. Well, you can see which way it's going, up and to the right. So Texas growth, even slow, is going to add another probably 14 million people by the year 2060. So if you spread those out over all the counties, these are kind of the estimates of our metro area. So now we're looking at Austin again. So here we are, 2020, 2.28. By the end of this decade, when we get to 2030, they predict we'll be at 288. So we will have added about 600,000 people over this decade right now. And we're maybe 2/3 of the way there. So we're going to add every year another 40, 50,000 people to the metro. That's a suburb a year, if you want to think of it that way, of people. That's a lot. How many schools, roads, sewer lines, all water, all the things that we're going to need. By the time we get to 2040, we'll be at 3.4 million people. So that's over these 20 years, we'll add 1.2 million people. And again, we're about 1/3 of the way through that 20 years right there. Once we get to 2050, 3.89 million. And by the time we get to 2060, 4.33 million people over these 40 years. And we're at the beginning of that. We're going to add over 2 million people to the metro. We're barely over 2 million now. So we're going to almost double, probably 89% over the next 40 years. So the people are coming. So yes, we might be oversupplied today because of price and because of, the supply that we added to the market. But give it time, there's going to be plenty of people moving here. And at some point, we're going to have to build more housing and expect housing to get more expensive. So know which way the housing market is going long term. We are seeing a lot of population growth. However, even though all these people are moving here, what's happened to price over the last 4 or 5 years? Well, our prices have now come back to where they were in March of 2021. This is price. We got I think some charts have shown we probably got about 50% overpriced peak COVID. We're now down to like maybe 8%. So, and again, long-term trend comes up, price comes down. At some point, they're going to reach each other. We're pretty close to that. So I predict over the next 12 or 24 months, we're pretty balanced at that point, and you're going to see the market start to improve on price. But for now, we have seen prices come back to the 2021 level. What's happened in the first quarter, we did see a slight decrease from last year in homes sold, but new listings on the market also came down a bit. Pendings have gone up. This says 10.9%. I saw in March it's 12.8%. So pendings have really been going up. Part of that's because the interest rates are better than they were last year. We're over half a point, maybe 3/4 of a point better than we were last spring. So that is doing well. And we're holding steady on months of inventory. So again, the market's hanging in there. Let's look at it in a better chart. So right now, again, we're just tipping under 6 months of inventory. It feels more like a buyer's market in some pockets. It feels pretty good in some tighter other pockets of the metro. The good school districts, the ones that don't have a lot of new construction, maybe more limited inventory, those are moving pretty well. If you're in the suburbs, you're surrounded by new builds, you're in downtown condos, maybe some luxury sections. There's some parts of the market feel very slow still. If we look at supply and demand, this is market as a whole. Well, supply, here's the 10-year average, that dotted line, still way above. So supply is up. However, look at demand. Demand is up. And demand right now is around our 10-year average. We're seeing enough buyers out there. We just have a lot more homes for sale than average. So it's still a supply game. The demand is starting to show up. We're just have a lot of supply to work through in the market. If I look at where we are today, this morning, green is active single-family home listings in the metro. And you can see we're in spring. We always see the listing side go up. We are seeing sales go up as well. You can kind of see the blue lines down here. But there's still a big gap between how many are selling every month versus how many are on the market. So that's why you see 5-6 months of inventory, because it takes a while to sell all these properties. But we are seeing sales go up. That is a good sign. Finally, mortgage rates, not much to say here. These have been pretty stable over the last week or so. We're still sitting around 6.3%. If you have good credit score, if you're FHA, VA, you might be able to get that down into the high 5 range. Also, if you negotiate, maybe get some points in your contract, closing cost credits, you might be able to buy your interest rate down. But so far, interest rates are holding steady. Well, if you are a seller right now, this is actually the best spring we've had in probably 3 years. It probably was decent in 23, but since then it just slowed down, rates stayed high. Finally, we're seeing demand kind of come back to the market. Rates have come down a little bit, but just know there's a lot of supply. You still have a lot of competition. So a big part of it comes down to making sure we overcome all the objections we can in the preparation of your home for the buyers and price it really well. Do not aspirationally price the house. Make sure you are priced to compete against what's on the market. And if you do so, you can do really well. My last 3 listings in Austin have all gone under contract in a week. So you can sell quickly if you prepare and do the right steps. If you're a buyer right now, you still have most of the tailwinds in your favor. You've got prices that aren't screaming away from you. You have lowering interest rates, and you still have plenty of supply to look at. The only caution flag is just know if you like the best house in the neighborhood and it's priced really well, don't be surprised if you get a little competition on that one, because we are seeing that in the market. Anyways, hope these videos are helpful. You can check them out on our YouTube channel each and every week. Go to Ryan Kelly Group, click that subscribe button. Would love to get you to follow us there. And of course, if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, invest, or finance here in Austin, would love the opportunity to chat with you. Hard to believe we are going to touch May this week. It is going fast. We are almost to summer. It's finally starting to feel like it outside, and look forward to bringing you another report next Monday. Thanks.